Hello, beautiful person. Welcome to Unconventional Counseling. I'm Ada Ad Astra, and today for our book club this week, we are reading The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and we're reading about the fourth agreement, to always do your best. The fourth agreement, always do your best. There is just one more agreement, but it's the one that allows the other three to become deeply ingrained habits. The fourth agreement is about the action of the first three. Always do your best. Under any circumstance, always do your best. No more and no less. But keep in mind that your best is never going to be the same from one moment to the next. Everything is alive and changing all the time. So your best will sometimes be high quality, and other times it will not be as good. This makes me think of perfectionism. And I feel like the more I learn, the more I see that perfectionism is linked to anxiety, and anxiety oftentimes is linked to trauma, or misattunement, or attachment trauma. And there was something that happened in a relationship, usually relationship with a caregiver or somebody really, really important, a lover, that taught a person, that teaches us, that hardwires into our brain chemistry, that if we don't get it just so, something will go horribly wrong. We will be punished. We won't be able to be loved or received. We won't belong. We will feel such intense guilt and shame. And perfectionism, the lie of perfectionism is that if we get it just so, we'll get all of these rewards of happiness and contentment and joy and connection. Those things come when we do the thing just so, but the feeling of it feels so fleeting. Happiness feels so fleeting when perfection is the goal, because we never do anything perfectly. We are inherently imperfect. We can be amazing, we can be incredible, we can be dope, we can be special, we can be unique, we can be authentic, but we're not perfect. And spoken from a Virgo moon, this is like a breakthrough for my life. I have wanted to be perfect my entire life. I've wanted to get the perfect grade in terms of school, not because I wanted to on my own, but because I grew up in a Nigerian American family, and my siblings and my parents, they would be like, "What do you mean you got a 92? Where are the rest of your points? I don't understand. Was 92 the highest grade, or could you have gotten 100? And I would be like, I don't understand the question. I received a 92 because when I did my work and I studied and I did whatever and I was listening in class, I understood enough for a 92%. And that is the grade that the teacher gave me. I trust my teacher. I trust myself. I deserved a 92 because I understood 92% of the information. Why are we having a conversation right now? Like, I would be so confused. But you get the same treatment over and over again enough, and it can hardwire something else. And what was organic for me to be like, no, I'm just my own self. I got a 92 and I'm proud of it. I don't need to compare myself to anybody in the class. I don't need to be upset with the teacher. I don't need to be upset with myself. I'm grateful. Because that's an A. Like, what? I'm an A student. Like, I was all Leo as a child. I loved it. I loved it all. I was like, I'm amazing. Yes. I did my best. Yes. But sometimes we can create agreements with others. This is what this whole book is about. That we buy into, that we sign on the dotted line saying, that's not a natural thing that I would think of, or an organic thing for me. It's not intrinsic for me to make that thing you just said a part of my reality. But over time, you hear it enough. Over time, you hear it from people that you respect and you care about enough. Over time, you feel the confusion and the guilt and the shame enough. And it can crystallize into like a diamond of perfectionism. All that pressure creates diamonds, right? It creates all these crystals that we find. But sometimes the crystals or the diamonds, they're forged from the pressure that could have broken us, you know? So for the longest time, I believed that I was supposed to be perfect. And I tried to be. In my academics, I tried to be. In my work environments, with whatever work I was doing, I tried to be. In my relationships, in my interpersonal dynamics, in my romantic relationships, I tried so hard. And every time I tried to reach for perfection, I ended up miserable. I would do so much and so much and so much, but sometimes the relationship would still end. Sometimes the friendship would still crumble. Sometimes the job still wasn't like nourishing my soul to the depth of it. Sometimes I still felt alone amongst the community, even though I felt like I was showing up as a perfect version of me, whatever that even meant, because I don't even remember all of it, you know? When you walk around with a lot of trauma, it's hard to be remembering everything that you showed up as and did. And I don't know. I know I was sad inside. I know that there was a lot going on. Couldn't tell you it all. Some of it I can. Some of it I'm like, I don't know. Let's continue. When you wake up refreshed and energized in the morning, your best will be better than when you are tired at night. That makes sense. I get that, yeah. Your best will be different when you're healthy as opposed to when you're sick. Again, Don Miguel Ruiz is making a lot of sense. Or your best will be different when you're sober as opposed to when you're drunk. I hear no lies. This all makes so much sense. Your best will depend on whether you are feeling wonderful and happy or upset, angry, or jealous. So this part made me think about chronic illness. It made me think about the physical types of chronic illness, the psychological types of chronic illness. It made me think about anxiety and depression. It made me think about fibromyalgia. It made me think about neurodivergence. Not necessarily calling this a chronic illness, but it is a symptomology that one experiences chronically, consistently. And the stress that comes with living in this world and being neurodivergent. I'll say it that way. And I'm thinking of poverty. I'm thinking of like really just like struggling to make ends meet, and you keep trying. And the stress of not having enough, the stress of working so hard and still not having enough to have housing or like stable housing or food that's nourishing for your body consistently. There's so many things that we can apply to this part, because in addition to the stress, we oftentimes or sometimes will judge ourselves in the midst of it. We'll be the ones who are being so unkind to ourselves, whether we're repeating something that someone else outside of us is saying about us because of our lack of capacity for any number of reasons, or something that we're saying about ourselves because we wish that we had more capacity and we're upset with ourselves for not having more. And it's like, your best will be different when you're not feeling your best. It just is. It makes sense to read it. It makes sense. I hope it makes sense to receive it, because it took me so long. It continues to take me time to be like, oh, okay, like today I'm kind of sad. Like, of course I'm not gonna be able to do all the like all my creativity and show up in the ways that I would when I'm feeling not sad, when I'm feeling very content. That makes sense. I have a Cancer sun. You know how emotional I am? And still, with my Virgo moon, I'll still be surprised when I wake up in a different mood, or when my mood shifts during the day. I'll still be like, I was doing well earlier, so something must be wrong. Really? Sometimes you just gotta laugh at yourself, because like, what else? That makes no continuity. Things are so simple sometimes. They really are so simple sometimes. If you're not in a good mood, you're not gonna be able to do your best at some astronomical level. And if you haven't been in a good mood for a long time, your best may not look the way that you want it to or the way that others expect. Period. I really desire for more compassion in this paradigm. I want more compassion for ourselves and more compassion for each other. So even if somebody's saying, you know what, you continue to not show up in the ways that I need you to in this connection or in this work environment or whatever, I understand, but here's my boundary. That could be a whole different thing from this reactionary shit that happens so much at the time. Everybody's going through something. Everybody's always going through something. When somebody's an asshole to you, they're going through something. When somebody's withdrawn and they're all depressed, they're going through something. Like, everybody's always going through something. Like, how quickly we forget for ourselves and for others. I'm just like, really? Really? In your everyday moods, your best can change from one moment to another, from 1 hour to the next, from one day to another. Your best will also change over time. As you build the habit of the 4 agreements, your best will become better than it used to be. Regardless of the quality, keep doing your best, no more and no less than your best. If you try too hard to do more than your best, you will spend more energy than's needed. And in the end, your best won't be enough. When you overdo, you deplete your body and you go against yourself. And it will take you longer to accomplish your goal. It will also take you longer to build self-trust, because your body and your heart and your soul are looking at you with their shoulder to you like, every time we tell you we're tired, you do more. So now you have these ideas, you have this creativity, you want to do stuff in the world, you want to make some new friends, you want to date somebody. I don't know if I trust you. I'm going to probably self-sabotage that because I don't know if I trust you. You overdo stuff. So it's like really important for the relationships that we're building internally in this inner community that we have, that we don't betray ourselves, or we try very hard not to. First and foremost, our loyalty is to ourselves. And that can sound however it needs to, but there is an inner community within each of us. And if something within is saying no, somebody's feelings are gonna be hurt maybe. Somebody's gonna feel disappointed. I don't know, but better them than you. Better them than you. People get over things, hopefully. The parts of you, gonna hold on to it for the rest of your life. We don't know grudges like the grudges our body holds. We don't. We think we know grudges interpersonally. We don't know grudges more than what trauma do. That pain you be feeling in your body, them nightmares, some part of you is holding a grudge. Like, just saying. Whew. If you do less than your best, you subject yourself to frustrations, self-judgment, guilt, and regret. This is, procrastination. This is self-sabotage. When you do less than your best, oh my gosh. There have been times when I've done less than my best and I felt haunted by them. There are things, situations, places that I wanted to go, and I didn't at times. As much as I've had this internal narrative of this fear of seeming impulsive, this is one of I'm like, oh no, am I being chaotic? Am I being impulsive? Oh no. I don't know. I genuinely couldn't tell you. But the times when I do go towards my impulses, even if they seem grand and big and different and unexpected, I don't regret them. I don't. So, something I've learned in my life. So, check for yourself. Like, do a little inventory. Think of a time when you didn't go after something that you felt an impulse to, and how you feel about it, how you felt about it, and how you feel about it today, and then how you feel about something that you did follow your impulse. However it turned out, how do you feel about yourself that you went after it? So you can get a sense of how to trust your intuition, which voice is your intuition and which voice is fear, you know? Sometimes they sound a little similar. Just do your best in any circumstance in your life. It doesn't matter if you're sick or tired. If you always do your best, there's no way you can judge yourself. And if you don't judge yourself, there's no way you're gonna suffer from guilt, blame, and self-punishment. Do you know? You don't. I have suffered from self-punishment and blame and guilt for so long. Oh my gosh. It feels like this is the first year of my life when I'm emerging from a cocoon and I'm just like, I don't need to be sad. What? I can just like be here in the present moment and enjoy. This is big. This is big to me. If you do your best in every circumstance, no matter what the situation is, no matter how you're feeling, there's nothing to punish yourself with. There's nothing to regret. You might feel disappointed that a situation didn't turn out the way you expected or that you wanted, but where would the regret be? You're trusting yourself, you're listening to yourself, you're trusting your voice, you're going after what you want, you're being honest with yourself, you're being honest with whoever else is involved in the situation. There's no regret. It's like it just vanishes. There's no regret. So long as your relationship with self is on the upswing in terms of health, so long as we're not pulling someone else into our energy and getting kind of codependent with how they react to things, we're good. Other people get to have whatever reaction they want. I'm saying this as a reminder to myself too. Other people get to have whatever reaction they want because they're not you and they don't live your life. All right. So, Don Miguel Ruiz uses an example now. There was a man who wanted to transcend his suffering, so he went to a Buddhist temple to find a master to help him. He went to the master and asked, "Master, if I meditate 4 hours a day, how long will it take me to transcend?" The master looked at him and said, "If you meditate 4 hours a day, perhaps you'll transcend in 10 years. Thinking he could do better, the man said, "Oh, master, what if I meditated 8 hours a day? How long will it take me to transcend?" The master looked at him and said, "If you meditate 8 hours a day, perhaps you'll transcend in 20 years. But why will it take me longer if I meditate more?" the man asked. The master replied, You are not here to sacrifice your joy or your life. You are here to live, to be happy, and to love. If you can do your best in 2 hours of meditation, but you spend 8 hours instead, you will only grow tired, miss the point, and you won't enjoy your life. Do your best, and perhaps you will learn that no matter how long you meditate, you can live, love, and be happy. Doing your best, you're going to live your life intensely. You're going to be productive. You're going to be good to yourself because you'll be giving to yourself. You'll be giving to your family. You'll be giving to your community. You'll be giving to everything. It's the action that's going to make you feel intensely happy. When you always do your best, you take action. Doing your best is taking the action because you love it, not because you're expecting a reward. Most people do exactly the opposite. They only take action when they expect a reward. I've done this. And they don't enjoy the action. And that's the reason why they don't do their best. If you take action just for the sake of doing it, without expecting a reward, you will find that you enjoy every action you take. Rewards will come, but you won't be attached to the rewards. You can even get more than you would ever have imagined for yourself without expecting a reward. If we like what we do, if we always do our best, then we're really enjoying life. We're having fun, we don't get bored, and we don't have frustrations. When you do your best, you don't give the judge the opportunity to find you guilty or to blame you. If you have done your best and the judge tries to judge you according to the book of law, your book of law, you've got the answer. I did my best. There are no regrets. That is why we always do our best. It's not an easy agreement to keep, but this agreement is really going to set you free. When you do your best, you learn to accept yourself. But you have to be aware and learn from your mistakes. Learning from your mistakes means you practice. Look honestly at the results, and you keep practicing. This increases your awareness. Doing your best really doesn't feel like work because you enjoy whatever you're doing. You know you're doing your best when you are enjoying the action or doing it in a way that will not have negative repercussions for you. You do your best because you want to do it, not because you have to do it. Not because you're trying to please the judge and not because you're trying to please other people. If you take action because you have to, then there's no way you're going to do your best. It's better to just not do it. You do your best because doing your best all the time makes you happy. When you're doing your best just for the pleasure of doing it, you're taking action because you enjoy the action. Action is about living fully. You don't need to worship idols of the Virgin Mary, the Christ, or the Buddha. You can if you want to. If it feels good, do it. Your own body is a manifestation of God. And if you honor your body, everything will change for you. When you practice giving love to every part of your body, you plant seeds of love in your mind. And when they grow, you will love, honor, and respect your body immensely. Every action then becomes a ritual in which you are honoring God. After that, the next step is honoring God with every thought, every emotion, every belief, even what is right or wrong. Every thought becomes a communion with God. And you will live a dream without judgments, victimization, and free of the need to gossip or abuse yourself. When you honor these 4 agreements together, there is no way you will live in hell. I love this book so much. This is my second time reading the 4 agreements, and I love it because there is such boldness in the Toltec wisdom that is being spoken here by Don Miguel. And I feel so inspired by that. I want to say things boldly, but I get nervous of how people will receive it. So this is the very first book that we're reading in our very first, aspect of our book club, and there will be more to come. So I will catch you in the future, and I hope you take good care. Bye.